Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick, and joining me equally as always is Devon.
Hello.
Today we're doing a bit of a grab bag. We're doing a look at some board games that we've played. We're doing 3 today, but before we get too far into that, we go with a good old time-honored tradition of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. What have you got for me today?
You get to design a character for a RPG party in a video game. Turn-based RPG to make life simpler. His gimmick is, or their gimmick is that their powers are board game based. We've had plenty of people have their powers based on luck in general. It's usually casino based. What one board game do you give as a moveset to an RPG character?
Ooh, this is a difficult one because this could be quite in depth.
Yeah, but it also doesn't have to be. So don't go too nuts.
It doesn't have to be. No, I guess I'd make some kind of gadgeteer genius where they're
just what game is it based on and what powers do they get from the game? You don't need to be like, oh, they're a gadgeteer. Woo.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like they're a summoner. They summon things from the game, and it's based around Biff the Lad, the game that we played.
That's not a board game. That's a card game.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It's a deck building card game that you play at board game night. Okay.
So at that point, that's a very good one. I was just going to go on a tangent and be at that point, you're just like, I choose to make my RPG character Yami Yugi from the Yu-Gi-Oh series.
Yeah, I'm going with Mousetrap. You're a trap setter, and once you've got enough, you've essentially got like this Rube Goldberg machine that you can knock enemies into.
Yeah, it's your overdrive.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I guess it would be kind of like Riku, where you're just like creating traps on the fly, except instead of like potions or whatever you're mixing, you're making specifically like a bear trap or the cage that comes down, stuff like that. Yeah, I like Mousetrap. Mousetrap, let's go. How about you?
I think very specifically with a Mousetrap themed character, you'd be like the debuffer of the party, so like a green mage, but only the offense part of it.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna pick up the old reliable of Screwball Scramble because giant metal orb go.
Yes. I showed you part 3 of Screwball Scramble recently, didn't I?
Okay, but it's not a part 3 and you know it.
Yeah, I know, right? It doesn't stick with Screwball Scramble 1 and 2, and therefore it's spurious calling it Screwball Scramble 3.
I can see why they went with that naming convention. It's enough like Screwball Scramble to go with it. They should have just called it like Digital or something. Like I don't know what they should have called it, but like you got it in one. Like they went for a video game type theme for it, but like that kind of fucks up the element of a board game.
Sure, yeah, I get you.
You know, like digitize Screwball Scramble and it immediately becomes shit.
Yeah. It's just like I'm not saying it's just like when you turn pinball into digital, because there are fun pinball games, but the fun pinball video games are games that don't just do pinball usually.
I totally get you. Like Pokemon pinball was really fun, but at the end of the day, it was just pinball.
Yeah, and pinball in real life, there's just something timelessly like.
Rick, I'm going to stop you there because what you're describing is overstimulating ADHD people.
Hey.
I totally get where you're coming from. There's a majesty to an in-person machine that you just can't replicate on a console. Because part of the fun is the physical stimuli, which you can't quite emulate on a controller. Or, if you're like me and Rick, the old school 1999 version you got on PCs, which you could not emulate with the Q and V keys.
Yeah, you got left shift, right shift.
But yeah, anyway, Screwball Scramble seems like a good one. It would basically be, my power is gun, but my gun is a marble.
Yeah, you shoot above it, and then the marble goes massive and drops down on them.
Yeah, and you do like QTE prompts to do better damage or add additional effects. I'm basically stealing Claire Obscure's QTE effects.
Yeah, fair enough. I've still not played that game. I don't own it yet.
You should. You really
keyword
should.
Yet.
High recommend from me and our mutual friend.
Yeah, good shit.
Rick, what's your question?
My one for you is you're being offered life under a benevolent dictator, but if you refuse, then the benevolent dictator never takes power. This is someone who values their people and makes sure that everything must work, everyone must work. There are fair work policies, long vacations. All people and religions are equal. However, you do know it's a dictator, and as soon as the dictator is gone, it goes to shit.
I mean, it's pointless then, isn't it?
Yeah, but like...
No, there is no yeah, but it's pointless. Also, the fundamental question is an oxymoron.
Yeah, benevolent dictator. I mean, it's just Doctor Doom, isn't it, really?
He's not benevolent.
He is to his guys.
Not really. Well, it's all well and good being like, I'm good to my people, but everyone else must die, especially Reed Richards.
You must die.
Nah, it's a pointless question, because even if you go, it's fundamentally flawed, as you say, you get this problem with a lot of dynastic families, especially in history. They usually always would go benevolent, despot, benevolent, rebellion. Oh, we got a despot again. You got to teach the people who come after that you can't abuse this power and you got to keep giving. But why the fuck should I?
Yeah, I get you.
Usually the problem would come from like drilling into like the firstborn son. This is how you do things, but then the firstborn son would die horribly, and all the neglected children would then fight for power. But yeah, no, it's a fucked up question. My answer is actually irrelevant. I'd say no, based on the fact that I don't trust dictators. You can give me all the assurances in the world, like, no, this will be a good one, no. And I'm like, no, I don't believe you. And as you say, fundamentally, it's not a benevolent existence for all time. It's 30 years tops, and that's assuming no bloody violent coups. It's bad. I'd say no, because again, dictators are a bad thing to have. You shouldn't have these. And people who want to be dictators shouldn't be.
Oh, yes. Exactly. I mean, it's any position of power, basically. Anybody who wants any amount of power probably shouldn't be allowed to have it.
Do you know what? I can... First-hand fucking evidence is, like, even a manager in a supermarket. If someone wants to be a manager, do not make them a manager. They are the worst kind of people.
Oh, yes, they're just waiting to power trip.
It makes no sense. It really doesn't. But anyway, what's the answer to your stupid fucking question, Rick?
I would go for it. Because if there's fair wages, that means there's fair amount to leave. So if you see it going badly, if you see the writing on the wall, you can get out before the coup and the devastation and everything.
Oh yeah, because every single Jewish person was able to flee Germany before shit went bad.
Oh yes, if you listen to Asmongold, yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh man, I didn't want to say that man's name. Oh well. Okay.
I don't know why you brought him up, Rick. That's entirely on you.
Yeah, it is. But yes, the first one of the 3 board games that we're going to be talking about is Villainous. We've played Disney Villainous, we played Star Wars Villainous. There is also a Marvel Villainous.
Yeah, which neither of us have touched, because I think we actually... I remember when I first bought Villainous, I ended up taking the plunge and grabbing it. We were like, oh, there's a Marvel version. And I think you and I both said the exact same thing of like, kind of don't give a fuck about Marvel.
Yeah, like... I like Marvel. I like their movies. I have seen pretty much all of them. I know that not all of them are good. We've done a bottom 5 list. And we agreed on some of them.
Well, yeah, because if you don't put Eternals at the bottom of your list, then I don't think you watched the movie.
Yeah. But the thing that made me not want to get Villainous is that the Venom expansion is a full-priced expansion and only has Venom in it.
Yeah, because the expansions for Villainous are typically half price of the base game because you only get 3 characters as opposed to the 6 in the base. I don't know why they released Venom all on his own.
Yeah, they could have put him with like anything else. Like, I don't know, do Venom and Carnage, go.
Venom, Carnage, Shriek, if you want to be weird about it. Or, you could have even bundled in with Morbius, given how weirdly fundamental he is in that original storyline with Venom and Carnage.
Yeah, and apparently he's also fundamentally important to the Sonyverse.
You mean the Sonyverse that's not happening anymore?
Oh yes, the Sony collection of Spider-Man related properties, yes.
Yeah. So we won't be talking about the Marvel version. Hell, we're not even going to go that in-depth into Villainous. It's just a game we've both played. We're both pretty high on it. It's a pretty unique system. I'm going to assume that Disney has a fair share in the actual property itself, because I don't see why they'd limit it to Disney otherwise. Yeah,
so I think this is Ravensburger Games.
Correct.
And I think Disney contracted them to make it. So they're still under contract, but I think someone that works there is like very good at knowing the character that they're interpreting, and they've got a really good way of having gameplay and story integration for a lot of these characters.
Well, the thing is, Rick, is that Ravensburger also, do correct me if I'm wrong, do the trading card game that Disney are now plugging. So like they've clearly got a very good, strong working relationship with each other.
Okay.
So the cards in that card game also do a very good job of conveying the characters behind them, despite having like twists and turns to them. I think Disney just has a team that handles this shit.
Yeah, maybe so. Like you might have like what would you call it? Not an interface, a liaison.
I mean, shit, dude. Like
between the two, yeah.
Even if you didn't, like, just play Kingdom Hearts. They boiled all their characters down to a very simple formula.
Yeah, they got everything down on lock. Yeah.
But yeah, let's go over this. Villainous is a pretty clever system, at least in my opinion. I quite enjoy it because it's basically not a multiplayer game. You've basically got 6 single player games that you can fuck over other people's single player experience with.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Civ in that it's more about what you do for yourself, and when it comes to the PvP time, that's a very small aspect of it, and it's just trying to stop someone from winning rather than trying to win yourself.
You've not played Civ against me when I'm mean.
No, we never get to that point. We only play for like a couple of hours.
I mean, I would love to play a proper Civ game with you. I wanted to do a proper Civ game with all 4 of us, but that fizzled out really quickly for no real reason.
Yeah. Well, part of it was that I was on my laptop at the time, so.
This is true. But yeah, I'd love to play a proper Civ game with anyone. I would play a game with you where we're exclusively allied, and you can see how much of a ruthless cunt I can be in that system.
But yes, I'm aware that like Darth Vader should be banned because he's too easy.
I'm absolutely convinced that there's some rule we're misinterpreting with him, or he was made separately. The Star Wars core system includes Darth Vader, and I assume that perhaps a different team made that set, because when you look at the Villainous Disney set, there's like 3 characters that have a win condition very similar to Darth Vader's, but one of the reasons that they stop it from being so quick to execute is the land that you have to get the thing to is initially locked, so you have to unlock that before you can do your actual game-winning mechanic. And I think they just forgot to include that in Darth Vader.
Yeah, I think Captain Hook does that, doesn't he?
Captain Hook does it, so does Jafar, and Ursula doesn't, but she's got another bullshit thing she has to contend with, so...
Yeah, like, I think, for Darth Vader, the final area is Death Star 2, so being defeated at the first Death Star might unlock the Death Star 2, for instance. That would be a pretty good way to do that, but, like, it's so weird that you don't have to unlock the area.
Now, in theory, you can use the Star Wars Villainous against regular Disney Villainous, and even mix Marvel in. The only thing that makes me feel like that's weird is that Star Wars adds an additional currency, and as far as I'm aware, there's no real reason for this.
Yeah, so it might just be so you can't run them one-to-one against each other. But yeah, the Star Wars one has both ambition and credits.
But ambition's the same thing in, like, it's the same token. As they call it in regular Villainous. So all it means is if you're bringing the Star Wars thing, hey, bring the Republic credits as well.
Yeah.
But it does kind of make sense though to have 2 currencies in this system. Like I can see why they added it. It's just it does make things a bit more clunky.
Yeah, and it puts a clear line between someone who's like a mono money strat versus someone who actually wants to gain power and win.
Yeah, Prince John.
Yep.
Like, Prince John would benefit from having a money system.
Oh yes.
By the by, a bit of an anecdote here is you don't gain ambition 1 per turn, which is the way Rick initially read it when we first played Villainous. And that's why Prince John is bent, because we were just giving him a free power every turn, and he's not supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, generally they're really good at interpreting the flavor of the characters. They have vastly different power levels between characters as well.
Yeah, I think even in the Villainous game, the regular Disney branded one even tells you, if you're new to this game, try using this character.
Yeah, and there's different power levels in like how easy a deck is to play, and also different power levels between, do you think Darth Vader would be able to beat Cad Bane? Yeah, that might be a bit more of a fair fight. Do you think Darth Vader will be able to beat the second sister? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the second sister stands up to pretty much many of anyone on that list.
I think you're bigging up Cad Bane a bit.
Oh yeah, Cad Bane's fucked, but it won't be as quick as Darth Vader picking him up by his neck and killing him. Mm-hmm. That might be how it ends.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this game system's very fun. I don't usually plug things, but if you're into board games, Vanillus is a pretty good one. I brought it up before. It really does feel like you're focusing on your own thing, and you're basically playing against a computer, but that computer's your friends.
Yeah.
So what usually happens is one of the key systems here is, at the end of the day, it's a board game. A semblance of honesty is required. I played this game with my sister and my mum. I've definitely told you this, Rick, but I'm telling it again on the podcast, where my sister was playing Prince John, and I had a glance at her power. You need 20 to win, 20 at the beginning of your term as Prince John to win. And I was like, how many have you got? And she said 16. And I went, okay, so she's pretty close, but not that close. I'll focus on other things instead. And then it got to her turn, and she went, I win because I've got 21 power. And I'm like, you said you had 16. And she was like, I lied. I went, that's not the game, though. We're not playing poker.
Yeah. yeah.
It's just like, I was like, cool, you win, but it's like, I would have played my turn differently if I had access to the information I'm supposed to have access to.
Yeah, because like by the rules, you're meant to be able to, have that information at all times. Like someone with all those tokens has them on the table. You're meant to be able to look at them at any time. No problem.
It's one of those where, like, I didn't want to have to count all of the tokens because I know she knows the information and can just tell me. And instead of doing that, it's like, and the funny thing is, she probably would have won anyway. The only thing that would have been different is I would have put an enemy on her thing. Would that enemy have changed things? Potentially, but not necessarily.
Yeah, like for one turn at most.
Well, that's just it. But it's one of those. Also, I'll tell you this for free, Rick. My mum is infuriating to play this game with.
Okay, just you have to read everything each time.
She insists that she doesn't understand the rules, despite the fact that every turn she plays is perfectly fine. It's like, I don't really understand. It's like, but you're doing the things correctly. Oh, yes, am I though? Yeah. And it's like, yes.
I get it.
I get it as well. It's one of those things which infuriates me a lot about doing a load of things. It's like, I don't understand the rules, and it's like, we're playing the game. We're not playing competitively, if that's what you care about. We're just getting once you play a round, that's how you learn the game. Like, it's like when I played you at the Magic the Gathering rip-off Disney game.
Yeah, Lorcana.
Yeah, Lorcana, that's the one where, like, it's like, cool, we're showing each other our hands and we're explaining what we do every time we do it, specifically so you could just pick up the rules. And then we never actually played a proper game because things happened.
yeah, totally.
But, it is what it is. I'm just saying, if you're one of these people who's like, I don't understand the rules, while we're still trying to teach you the rules, I hate you.
Yeah. Basically, if you're a mum, I hate you.
Oh, well, no, that's not the way I want to word this, Rick.
Yeah, you didn't want to word it that way.
I didn't word it that way, and I didn't say that. That's entirely on Rick.
Yeah, I didn't say those words. I just said all the things that they mean.
Also not true, but go on. Dig yourself a hole.
Yeah. So yes, Villainous, we both pretty much really like it. One of us will bring the other Villainous to the other's place when we visit each other. Generally, half the time I leave it there because I'm stupid. And
yes.
Yes.
I brought Villainous with me the last time we hung out, and then we didn't play it. We just did the Star Wars one.
Yeah, we just did the Star Wars one. But to my credit, I did have the other two expansions that I'd not played yet, so that was kind of like a maiden voyage for those as well.
Yes, I had so much fun playing the Second Sister.
You said you didn't want to play someone from the original set, and then...
No, I said I didn't want to play someone I played. It's fine. Okay. Misunderstandings happen. It's not a problem. You'd already picked off Maul, and that's who I wanted, so I went for a piss. And then said, you guys just set up without me. That's on me.
Yeah. But yes, the next one, after Villainous, is... we'll be doing Top Trumps next.
Rick, you're in charge of the podcast. Make a decision.
Yeah, Monopoly was next on the list, so yeah, we'll do Monopoly. So, spoiler, Top Trumps is coming up last.
They're gonna be in the fucking description anyway.
Yep. Monopoly. This is... everyone knows Monopoly. This is a game that was made as a way to criticize capitalism, and yet it has devolved into one that glorifies capitalism. The only way that it gets criticized in the game is if you play it correctly and lose immediately to someone that's more lucky than you at the beginning and better than you at being cutthroat as the game progresses.
Monopoly is a very fun game, not in the least because absolutely nobody plays it correctly.
Oh, yes. Like a lot of people do the like free parking, and when you go past certain things you get a free draw of something, and like putting money back into
a free draw of something.
Yes. Well, there's the community chest, isn't there?
Yeah, but you don't get a free one.
No, you don't. You're not meant to.
Who plays? What's the rule here, Rick? What do you mean a free draw?
Yeah, I think the idea was when you pass over like just visiting on jail, you get a free community chest.
Why? Who plays with this rule? Call them out. Put them on blast. They're wrong.
Yeah, these were my cousins, and yes, it's a silly rule that makes the game take longer.
How old are they?
Older than me, but younger than we are now.
Yeah, okay. You should know better. You're dumb. I just sounded like Trump. You're stupid, you're fired. I can't do a Trump impression, and nor will I put in the effort to try. But yeah, no, that's fucking stupid, because Community Chest has just as many bad things as it does good.
Yeah.
It's really... Like, I had a video game for the PlayStation 2, Rick, which was just Monopoly. It had like 7 different boards, and all of them were shit. None of the options were pass, just visiting, collect a Community Chest. What fucking moron came up with it? Well, your cousins, evidently, but...
Yeah, but yes, there's a lot of house rules that just make the game take longer. Generally putting things back into the pool when they shouldn't be put back into the pool.
Yeah, free parking is entirely a made-up rule, and it feels like a British one as well, because I remember watching the Game Grumps argue over it.
Yeah, I think Aaron is basically saying, yeah, Monopoly is one of my favourite games of all time, if you play it correctly.
But everyone's got a very definite definition of what correctly means.
Yeah.
I know some people argue over the double 200 if you land on go.
Double 200? Okay.
Yeah, there's a house rule that if you land on go instead of passing it, you get 400 instead of 200.
Okay.
I think
I can see that.
Yeah, it's a fun rule. I think it's silly, but I wouldn't argue over it. I'd be like, that's how you want to play, that's fine. As long as everyone agrees before the first dice roll, it's all good. But not everyone necessarily knows what everyone's own bullshit house rules are until they get brought up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't know about triple doubles until I encountered it on the video game version.
Oh yes, if you roll 3 doubles in a row, straight to jail.
Yeah.
It's odd, isn't it?
Even if it's double ones.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it, though? Because you'd think, like, having that much of an advantage, that just plays into capitalism, right? Just keep going.
Yeah.
I was told that apparently the auction thing, that, again, I've only ever encountered in video games, is apparently the standard rule, but I have no idea how the fuck... That's going to be such a hassle to play on the actual board game version.
It is, yeah. It works best when there's only 2 people, and, like, 2 people can just bid up, bid down, whatever. I can see it being a big, massive pain in the ass when there's, like, 3, 4, 5 people playing.
Well, yeah. Personally, I cap it at 4. I don't think you should play with more than 4 people.
No, I don't think so either. Because, well, there's 4 corners on the board. Where's the 5th person going to sit? Your lap?
I mean, if you want to play sexy Monopoly, which is another level of depravity, it's like, oh, you can't pay your rent. Well... Oh.
Yeah. I'm plundering your utilities.
Oh, don't. Oh, no. What? Gross. Get out.
I've got all the train stations.
Oh, we should never have privatised the railway. Anyway.
I'm privatising your railway. Oh, no.
Monsters. But yes, there was a very interesting edition of the game where my mum got it for Christmas once, where instead of money, you had little plastic cards and a little thing that would change the amount of money on the card.
Cute.
Very cute. However, again, Monopoly is a game of honesty, and I don't know why you would ever cheat at Monopoly, a game that is fundamental. People don't like it when I say this. Monopoly is 100% based on chance. There is no skill or strategy to Monopoly.
Yeah, the only skill and strategy is, do I buy the thing that I landed on? If you've got enough money, the answer is usually yes.
Well, there's someone who's like, oh, the best strategy is to buy a corner or to buy an entire line, and it's like, yeah, no shit, yes. But you've got to get lucky enough and land on those before other people do. Dick. Anyway,
and there's not a single person in the world that will actively choose to trade with you if it's going to give you a monopoly in a line.
Really depends how desperate they get and how much they want to stay in the game. Personally, when I play Monopoly, I'm about half hour into a game and I'm like, I'm bored and want to go bankrupt now. Yeah. Monopoly is not a fun game. I mean, you can get that high you get from winning something. You can probably get that from Monopoly, but it doesn't outweigh the boredom of this game that is just keep rolling dice and hope you get lucky. But anyway, going back to the plastic credit card version of the game. It surprises me how many people cheat at Monopoly. It's a very weird thing. Now, there's a very notorious cheater in my household. His name is my brother. Whenever he would get the card reader, he would just add an extra grand onto his card card.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
And it was one of these things where it's like, how come you still got so much money when you just bought like the free incredibly expensive properties? And it's just like, It's like, okay, well, congratulations, you cheated at Monopoly. Do you feel good? You feel good winning this game of complete chance via chicanery? And not even clever chicanery. It was very obvious what he was doing. But it's like, do you really want to have an argument over Monopoly on Boxing Day? I didn't. I really wanted the game to end, so I really wasn't that bothered. But it was, you know when you clock onto something and you're like, this benefits me more than you know.
Yeah. It's one of those, though, like, I think you've now moaned about multiple members of your family.
Okay, but you gotta understand, Rick, I can't stand cheating in a game. What have you won?
When I play with my family, the only thing that they can play after a certain time of day are things with regular 52-card playing cards, because they remember those rules even when they're pissed.
I get you.
They say, oh, can we play this? And I'm like, you can, but you need your wits about you. Oh, okay.
So no.
Basically, if you're going to play this, stop drinking now, and I'll be able to tell you what the rules are. But by the time that you've got one eye open and you're repeating everything that you're saying because someone didn't laugh the first time, that's no longer conducive to a gaming environment.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, looping back around to the cheating thing as well, is like, I think you've probably learnt this by now with the D&D games I've ran. I put it in very clearly that, like, I trust everyone to do their own paperwork, because why would you cheat?
Yeah. Like if someone decides, oh well, I actually prepared the spell that I didn't prepare, and I've actually got the access to the full spell list at all times. Okay, buddy, you did prepare this one specific, really niche spell today, thinking that you were going to come up against mind flayers.
Like, it's never happened. But then again, I also only play with people who I consider friends.
Yeah. I'm
sure if I was running games for complete randos, which I'm never gonna do unless I get paid like £100 a session, which I think is scummy, so I'm also not gonna do. I can see you having to be a bit more vigilant against that sort of thing. But it's like, we're playing against friends. Who cares? Did you do this? I'm not gonna have an argument over it. It's, who are you spiting?
Yeah, I get you.
This is your game as much as it is mine. If you just want to have a power fantasy, I can run a campaign that's just 100% power fantasy if that's what you wanted to do, instead of getting your shit kicked in by Strahd.
yeah. That's probably going to happen pretty soon.
I hope so. I think we ended the last session with me using the exact words, or running is a valid option.
Oh, yes. I don't think it is. Like, from everything that we know about Strahd, I don't think we can run, especially not with Arena.
Oh yeah, that bitch is dead. I'm kidding.
Dead is a word.
Kidding.
Dead is a word.
Oh, Strahd doesn't want her for that. It's fine, probably. Anyway, we're getting way off topic. Monopoly, the destroyer of friendships and families.
Yeah.
I think we've all seen that video at this point, right? Of the kid who's crying and getting yelled at, and his mum is just being like, "Shut the fuck up! You can either pay the bank or get out."
Yeah.
I don't want to pay the bank. And how many people look at that and go, "Oh, me too, kid."
Yeah, me too, kiddo. Yeah.
Oh god, it's such a good video.
Yeah. So Monopoly's good. The other thing that they do with Monopoly is they make millions of different versions of it for everything.
Every single Premier League football club has a Monopoly.
Yeah, they're all official.
Yeah. Can't get bootleg Monopolies. Ooh.
Almost every city, and even some towns that are not even cities, have monopolies. Like, okay. I remember when there was a Yorkshire Monopoly, and I thought, oh, cool. I can look at things on the board and go, oh yeah, they've got Bradford. Oh, cool. And then they released a Bradford Monopoly. I'm like, oh, this is a bit close to home. Then they released a Huddersfield one, and it did so well that it's on sale for £10 on Game.
Did they have the Bradford one, and one of them was just like, here's the local co-op.
Yeah, here's Cheapside. It got knocked down to put a thing there.
Oh god.
Yeah,
how much do I pay for this property? It actually gives you money. Please, we don't want it.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. I do remember as a child there was one version of Monopoly that I desperately wanted. I didn't get it, and at this point in my life I'm like, I don't really care that I didn't get it. At the time I was probably devastated, but it also feels like one of those things where I wanted it but I never said I wanted it, so that might also have been a factor.
That's an issue, yeah.
But I remember as a kid, and this was prime movie 1 territory, where I really wanted the Pokemon version of Monopoly because it looked so cool and colourful.
Oh yeah, because they had little Pokemon as the little tokens, didn't they, as well, didn't they?
They did, and I think, if I recall correctly, the train stations were like Pokemon centres.
That's really cute, I like that.
But yeah, the only reason I knew how colourful it was is because we used to have these things as I don't know if they still do this. They must do, but I wouldn't know. I'm not a child. I'm very firmly in my 30s. As kids, they used to have a one day like every 3 months, which was bring a toy to school day, and one of the other kids brought their Monopoly, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, because even the money was seemed even more colourful than Monopoly money usually was.
Yeah, because the Monopoly money is kind of like washed out, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like bright pink and green, like they look like Nidoran colours.
Yeah. I'll pay you 2 Nidorans for a Charizard.
That's a bad trade. Do not accept it.
No. And yeah, like they had a basic Star Wars one, and I was like, cool, I want this. And then they released one a couple of years later that was, okay, there's now 3 Star Wars ones. There's the basic one, or you can have the Rebel one and the Empire one. I'm like, oh shit, okay, now I want all of those. And then the sequel movies came out. Oh, there's Monopoly Naboo.
What fucking properties would like Feed Palace would have to have been Mayfair, right?
Yeah, I think like the entire that entire corner, that edge of the board, all of it was Theed.
Okay, and like Leicester Square was probably Utagunga.
Yeah, Otogunga.
Someone said to me once, and I don't know how true. Someone was like, "Oh, by the way, Gungans are racist because they're taking the piss out of black people," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, Jar Jar was played by Ahmed Best."
Yeah.
And Boss Nass is played by fucking Brian Blessed. Yeah, the blackest man in the world, right?
Yeah, and the only reason that Jar Jar speaks that way is because that's the way Ahmed Best talked to his kids in the bath.
Yeah, it's like fucking grow up. Not everything's racist.
Yeah. Not everything's meant to be racist.
I don't think Ahmed Best would have agreed to it if he thought it was taking the piss out of black people. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
We love you, Ahmed Best. We're so glad that life has treated you well at this point.
Absolutely, 100%. But yes, that's our little take on Monopoly. Final one, Top Trumps. Can you remember what your very first Top Trumps was?
I can't remember the first one I owned, but I remember the first one I played.
Okay.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Man, okay. Yeah, because you're that much younger than me. That probably would have been like peak kid time.
I'm like 5 years younger than you?
I think a bit more than that, but yeah.
Well, Rick, we can do this right now. How old are you?
I think it's 8.
You're 40?
I'm 30. I'm 39. I'm 40 this year.
Okay, I'm 33 this year, so 7. It's 7. So yeah, I thought you were only 5 years older than me. Fuck, you're old, Rick.
Yes.
Feels weird, doesn't it, asking someone their age when you've known them for about 10 years?
Yeah, well, by the same token, like it's just as bad as asking their last name.
Rick, what is your last name? Don't do that, you'll get doxed.
I'm not doxing myself. Yeah, well, everybody that knows me knows my last name. They probably knew my last name before they knew my first name.
I just want to point out to the audience, I do know what Rick's last name it is. I'm also making a joke about being doxed, as if we don't have our names on the podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, that's a gag, isn't it? In like sitcoms, you'd be friends with someone for 10 years, not even know their last name.
I think that changed as soon as social media became a thing.
Oh yeah, like a lot of the time I remember people's names by seeing their full name on social media and remembering that rather than hearing what their name is and remembering that, because you tell me your name and it goes in one ear out the other. I'll know that you have 2 kids. You went to Turkey last year on holiday. Your wife is allergic to oranges. Couldn't fucking tell you your name.
Well, it's like it's really useful if you've got a very common first name, because it means I'm automatically going to learn your surname because I need to differentiate you from the other Christopher.
Yes. But yeah.
Rick, sorry, we're on the topic of names. Rick, how many Toms did you know, and how many of them were Ginger?
Oh, Ginger Tom.
Actually, I had the only Ginger Tom I knew named Thomas, and 3 of them were Ginger.
The only Ginger Tom I knew was actually a Ginger Tomcat. So,
Huh.
yeah, our generation, it was Chris's. There were like 7 of them.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like the majority of Thomases that I knew growing up were ginger. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and half of the Chris's were Chris B's as well. So,
but yeah, sorry, we're on the topic of top trumps. I told you my first. You now have to tell me yours.
trains, steam trains.
Jesus Christ! No wonder you're autistic.
Yeah. So this was before dinosaurs entered the cultural zeitgeist with the advent of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So, like kids growing up today, people know about dinosaurs. Babies can learn through dinosaurs. It's great. But in my day, they existed, obviously, but they weren't known in the big deal. So
I love the idea that dinosaurs didn't exist until 1993 when Steven Spielberg made them up.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, dinosaurs were created by. Oh man, I can just imagine flat earthers thinking that as well.
I mean,
dinosaurs were created. They were created in 1993 as a way to sell toys.
Now, to be fair, they don't believe they were invented in 1993. They believe they were made up in like the late 1800s because there was a thing called the Bone Wars, which is a real thing. It was a bunch of paleontologists basically racing to discover new species of dinosaurs, which means there was a lot of fakes. But they weren't fake because they were making up dinosaurs. They were fake because paleontologists wanted to be rich and famous.
Yeah, they were. Well, they may have made up a dinosaur that this bone that they had could have gone in. But they were also crap.
I'm talking straight up forgeries.
Yeah. They were also crap at putting them together. So, like,
this is true.
This thing with a horn on its nose, no, that's actually its thumb.
Yeah, there are a lot of examples of bones being misidentified just because they found one bone in the middle of nowhere and no other bones, so they just guessed at what dinosaur it might belong to.
Yeah, and the fossil Pokemon in Gen 8 were a reference to that because a lot of
those.
Yeah, a lot of the British paleontologists were known for this because we plundered enough tombs. Now it's time to plunder the ground for dinosaurs as well. In that, she put together the dinosaur Pokemon wrong, so you got half of one, half of the other, and these creatures.
Hey! Don't blame her. You're the one who decided to put them in that order.
Her name is Cara Liss. She's careless.
Okay.
Her shirt's hanging out. She's very obviously meant to be sloppy.
Yes, but we like women like that.
Oh yeah, we like hot messes.
They don't have to be hot.
I mean, that's what they're called, a hot mess.
Oh, that's fine. They can be cold messes.
Yeah, a lukewarm mess.
No, they could be completely fucking freezing cold. I'm still diving into that trash pile, and that's what we name her. I'm gonna stop that joke. I hate myself.
Man,
you see where I was going, right?
When your shrubbery is a trash pile. Oh man.
Rick, I've told you before, man. I don't like Jim Davidson, but I totally agree with the comment of like I want it to be like a gash in a gorilla's back.
Yeah. Now I'm just thinking of like an actual bush out in the real world with like crisp packets and like Kit Kat wrappers stuck to it. That's the trash pile I'm thinking of.
All right, listen. You know what I'm like. I don't actually like gross. That would smell.
Yeah. Well, because she'd probably get like a yeast infection from it. But yeah.
Can we go back to top trumps, please?
Yes. Most recent top trumps I played was the Sonic one that I bought for like $10 Australian.
I believe I played like Dangerous Creatures. Like it was like there used to be a show called Deadly 60, and I think it was them. And I think I bought them because they were £3 and I could play them very quickly with a friend. Yeah.
The one that I played most was a friend of mine had one that was the fastest cars available at the time.
It's the Koenigsegg.
Nah, way before that, it was the Thrust 2.
Shut up.
Which was the first land-based car to break the sound barrier.
Rick, why are you using the word land-based when describing a car?
Because they needed to put a lot of engineering to make sure it didn't take off.
But if it takes off, it's no longer a car, is it?
Yeah, it was a rocket with a seat and some wheels. So they needed to put a lot of aerofoils in it to make sure the downward force would keep it on the road.
Okay, listen, I understand you're describing something better than what I'm thinking of, but what I'm thinking of is like, and even though you said a fucking rocket, my brain made it a blimp. So I'm thinking of a blimp with like the wheels off of like a chariot.
Oh man, that's a fucking wacky racist car.
It is. It absolutely is. But it's the image that you've conjured for me.
Oh man, you got a wacky racist car. You got that. You got the chariot wheels. You got a bunch of 10-ton weight anvils and all that, just keeping it from taking off. that you can drop on your foes, but if you do it too often, you take off and you get disqualified. Oh, shit.
There's no disqualification in wacky races. What are you talking about?
No, they don't even disqualify Dick Dastardly. They just make sure he comes second.
He never comes second. He always comes dead last. That's the joke.
Yeah. Apart from the one time that he just wins, and people just assume that he cheated.
Well, again, we bring this up whenever we mention wacky races, and we mention it a lot. Dick Dastardly is regularly in first place, and he fucks his lead up by trying to cheat. Which, by the way, isn't even cheating, because everyone else is, like, throwing fucking guns at each other.
Yeah, like, I once saw, like, the Professor do something that was way worse than what Dick Dastardly did in that very episode. I'm like, little shit! And Dick Dastardly is meant to be the villain. Meanwhile, Dick Dastardly was voiced by Jason Isaacs in the most recent movie, Lord Gortash.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, voiced by Lord Gortash.
Fair enough. But yeah, Top Trumps is a very simple game. You usually got a deck of 30 cards, so 15 each. You shuffle them up and you deal them out. And, okay, Rick, so when I was a kid, we used to play it where when you won, you'd win the card and it would be added to the back of your pile as well as the card that you played, right? When I played this with my mutual friend, he said that what you actually do is when you win, you put those 2 cards in your win pile and then you win, you count who has the most wins at the end. And I'm like, okay, that kind of makes more sense to me, because I remember as a kid, games would last for fucking ever.
Oh yeah, because you'd remember the order of things and be like, oh, well,
Not even that.
Yeah.
In every single deck of Top Trumps card, there is a 100% just shit card that is designed to lose.
Yeah, for Sonic, it's the Chow.
For Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring, it was like Mr. Butterbury, who's like the owner of the inn that gets killed really quickly.
Yeah, is that the one where where the ring wraiths come in and stab all the pillows?
Yeah, but specifically he's the one who gets asked about Gandalf and he just goes, ain't seen him for about 6 months. Sounds very Yorkshire.
Yeah, fair enough. And was this the new line Fellowship of the Ring, or was it just pre that Fellowship?
No, it was the films.
Okay.
So we're talking like 2001 is when I played Top Trumps for the first time. I would have been 9.
Yeah, sweet. But yeah, it's like technically a lot of them can be used against each other, but not really, because they tend to have their own.
The categories are all different.
Yeah, they tend to have their own category. Like there's everyone. Oh, they always have a top trump score.
No, that's a modern thing.
Okay.
Well, it might not be a modern thing, but like I remember the franchise, like the Lord of the Rings cards, the Star Wars cards, they didn't have a top trump factor. I think they had a top trump factor, but it was always named something different. Like Star Wars, they'd use the bottom one instead of top trump. It would be force sensitivity or force power, but it'd effectively be the same score.
Yeah. Like obviously for the Sonic one, you got like speed and things like that, speed, power, all that shit.
I wonder who has the highest speed score in Sonic.
It's Super Sonic. He is the top trump. You automatically win unless you're against Knuckles. And then Knuckles beats him in strength just by 1, and that's it. But yeah, like even the trains, like the trains were all steam trains. So it's not like they could make more and put out a new version of it with additional steam trains.
Yeah, they could. They just don't have the bollocks.
We've made a new steam train in 2025. It's Mallard 2. It runs on nuclear power.
It's not a steam train then, is it?
Nah, no, well, I mean it is, because the what makes the wheels turn is the steam from the generator.
No, you're not powering that with nuclear.
Yeah, the steam turbines that generate energy.
Ugh.
But yeah, Top Trumps was just fun stuff. Like, and yeah, I also played it the add to the back of your deck rule, and yes, it did also take all of break time, and there would be no winner.
Yeah, well, no, because if break time ended, you'd have to count your cards and be like whoever happened to have the most cards at the time the bell went. Or if you're in my school, we didn't have a bell. It was like 3 teachers standing in different places on the playground blowing whistles.
Yeah, I mean, at my first school there was Katangadang duty where
what the fuck?
Okay, so there was a massive bell. Instead of a bell that rang on the school or in the school or whatever, one of the teachers would have a watch and a clock or whatever, and they'd send out the one kid who was on Katangadang duty to go out to the end of the road and just
a brave and perilous quest when you're 6.
With all of their child strength, ring this massive bell that was like a third of their size, and it would always go Katangadang. Yeah. I was.
If you're American listening to this, yes, British schools are dumb.
Yeah.
Technologically inferior to your electronically rigged Bell system.
Yeah. That school had one computer, and it was shared between the entire school.
Okay,
got wheeled around.
You were younger than me. By the time I was in school, computers were a regular occurrence. In fact, my generation was, weirdly enough, the first generation that had to switch from whiteboard to electronic whiteboard.
Oh, smartboard. Okay.
Yeah. Which means, yes, there was 2 electronic whiteboards in the school that had permanent marker on them. And it was still a regular occurrence that we'd still get the projectors out rather than use the fucking fancy electronic whiteboard. It was like, I still got me slides, we're using these.
Yeah, our teachers all preferred using the OHP because they could write on them in real time, and they could also, block things off with pieces of paper so you couldn't just read ahead, do the entire lesson in 5 minutes and leave. Well, not even leave, just clock out and start doodling.
You could absolutely fucking... Those were functionalities on the electronic whiteboard. It's just they were so... We cannot stress this enough. Anyone who's listening to this who's like 18, when these electronic whiteboards first came in, teachers did not know how the fuck to use them. It was hilarious.
Yeah, they also didn't want to use them. Like, we didn't even have any. We didn't have the edict from on high that we had to use them, so they didn't. They even still had blackboards. They had blackboards and whiteboards in the school.
Yeah, and, so every single classroom in our school from secondary onwards had these electronic whiteboards, and right next to them was the old school whiteboards. Can you see why the permanent marker thing happened?
Yeah. Yeah, they generally they preferred the blackboards because, chalk was cheaper than markers.
We didn't have blackboards in my secondary school. We did in my primary school.
Yeah.
So yeah. Boy, just do it. We could have just done a fucking podcast today about, like, let's remember stupid shit from our fucking busted old ass schools. We could technically teach history just based on how we were taught.
Yeah, recent-ish modern history.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the history of the dawning of the internet, as told by children who were poo babbies at the time and are now jaded adults.
Write this down, Rick. I think we could rope in some of our mutual friends from abroad and see what their experiences were as well.
Oh yes, our mutually jaded adults. Okay.
Well, I think one of our D&D players might be a smidge older than us, but she could probably have some insight if she was okay with being recorded for the show.
Yeah, maybe so.
I'm not mentioning names in case, 1, they don't want us to talk about them on air, and 2, they say no and poo-poo this idea, which I wouldn't blame them. It might be terrible. Yeah, Top Trumps was basically a break time killer for us nerdy fat kids who didn't want to play the football.
Oh yeah, the people who were faster than us got the football to begin with, and then they played with the football. Half the time they were just playing red arse instead. Did you get red arse at your school?
Oh, red arse was a cultural phenomenon in Britain, which I think is unique to us.
Yeah,
we got red arse. I don't know about how you played it, Rick. Our version of the game was you had to score a goal via a volley. You couldn't just score, and then whoever was in goal, by the time everybody scored their goal, he was the person who would have to get red arsed. It would have to be he, because we weren't allowed to play with the girls with this game.
Yeah, for us it wasn't even a football game. It was just the first person to go. It was basically dodgeball, but with feet. And
that's a completely different game.
Yeah, our red arse was just the person just stood there waiting to get red arsed. If they missed, he was like, okay, cool, I now joined the queue, and the person that missed was like, oh shit, now I'm gonna get red arsed.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yours was just a form of corporal punishment for funsies. Ours was a game that would actually, well, first of all, it was an actual game. You had to volley. It was just strategic as well, because unless you could self-volley yourself, which is a difficult skill in football when you're 10, you'd have to rely on someone else setting you up, which means you don't want to be the last 2 people trying to score.
Yeah, our red arse was different, apparently.
Yeah, no, your red arse was just like, let's hurt each other. Our red arse was, if you're shit at football, you're going to be in goal at the end of this. And everyone only got 1 shot as well, but they'd fucking belt it.
Oh, yes. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for our shallow dive into some board games that we have played / enjoyed in the past, present, and, well, I say future.
I'm probably never playing Monopoly again in my life.
Maybe not. We thought about bringing up some other games of this, like Trivial Pursuit is just a quiz, so that's a pretty shit one to bring up on this. But yes, if you like the video, there's a comment section down below on YouTube and Spotify, and tell us any board games that you've really enjoyed, any anecdotes about games that we've mentioned today that are different to the things that we've experienced with them. Good experience, bad experience, ideally funny experiences. And if you don't have the comment section and you're listening via one of the audio platforms, you can instead send an email to
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Rick is absolutely correct. Let us know your fun memories involving board games. If you've got an anecdote featuring one of the games specifically that we played, we would love to hear it. We know Top Trumps has caused many an argument back in the day, almost as much as Monopoly.
Yes. And there's always one person that owns it as well, so they kind of have like Super Trump because they know all the numbers.
That's a real autistic thing to do.
Yeah, but I went to a private school, so we're all autists.
No, you weren't. You were just posh. There's a difference between posh and autistic. I have more resentment towards one than the other.
Bye, everybody.
See you next week, guys.